Imagine your mind as a vast and restless ocean, alive with countless waves, each one representing a possible thought, feeling, or mental state. Left unchecked, these waves rise and fall chaotically, pulling your focus in unpredictable directions. One moment you might feel calm and centered, but in the next, the tide carries you away into stress, distraction, or self-doubt. Now picture yourself standing at the edge of this ocean, watching the waves. At first it seems impossible to control them. They're too wild, too unruly, but what if you could? What if, instead of being swept away, you could anchor your focus to a single wave, an idea, a feeling, or a task, and hold it steady? What if you could quiet the rest of the sea, creating stillness in the chaos? This might sound like wishful thinking, but science tells us otherwise. In quantum mechanics, a principle called the Quantum Zeno Effect, QZE, reveals something extraordinary. The simple act of observation has the power to stabilize motion. When a quantum system is observed frequently enough, it resists change, freezing in place and defying its natural tendency to evolve. What does this have to do with your mind? Everything. Your attention works in much the same way. Each time you direct your focus to a thought, emotion, or task, it's as if you're observing a wave on your mental ocean, holding it steady and preventing it from being swept away by the surrounding chaos. The more often you return your attention to that wave, the more stable it becomes, transforming fleeting moments of focus into sustained clarity, calm, or determination. By understanding this connection, you can begin to harness your attention as a tool, not just to concentrate in the moment, but to shape your thoughts, habits, and even the way you experience the world. The Quantum Zeno Effect is more than a scientific curiosity. It's a powerful metaphor for how you can take control of the waves in your mind. Let's dive deeper into this remarkable principle and explore how it can help you create focus, build resilience, and guide your mental ocean toward calm, steady waters. To understand the Quantum Zeno Effect, let's start with the basics of quantum mechanics. In the quantum world, objects like atoms or particles don't exist in fixed states the way we're used to in everyday life. Instead, they exist in superpositions, a blend of all possible states at once. A quantum particle, for instance, doesn't sit neatly in one place or move along a predictable path. It occupies multiple possibilities, only choosing a specific state when it is observed or measured. This act of observation changes everything. When we measure a quantum system, we force it to collapse into a single, definite state. The Quantum Zeno Effect takes this one step further. If we observe a system frequently enough, we prevent it from evolving naturally into other states. Think of it this way. Imagine a spinning coin. If you keep looking at it every fraction of a second, the act of watching interrupts its spinning, preventing it from settling on heads or tails. Instead, it remains in its current state, indefinitely suspended by your repeated observations. In quantum mechanics, this works because measurement disrupts the natural evolution of the system's wave function, the mathematical description of all its possible states. Each time we measure the system, we reset it to the observed state, effectively halting its progress into other states. This freezing effect is the Quantum Zeno Effect. Understanding this principle isn't just a fascinating thought experiment, it's a powerful lens for understanding how focus can shape our thoughts, emotions, and habits. So let's step out of the realm of particles and into the workings of your mind. In many ways, your mental states are like quantum systems. At any given moment, your mind is full of possibilities, a swirl of competing thoughts, emotions, and distractions. Left to itself, your attention drifts naturally, moving from one thing to another. But here's where the parallel to the Quantum Zeno Effect comes in. Your attention functions like a quantum measurement. Every time you consciously focus on a thought, an emotion, or a task, you stabilize it. Like observing a quantum particle, focusing your mind collapses the chaos of competing mental states and locks your attention onto a single point. The more often you return to that focus, whether on your breath during meditation, on the material you're studying, or on a calming emotion you want to cultivate, the more stable that mental state becomes. Frequent acts of attention, just like frequent quantum measurements, prevent the natural drift of the system. In essence, your repeated focus freezes your mental state, holding it steady. Imagine you're trying to stay calm in the face of stress. At first, calmness might feel fleeting, like a delicate balance you can't quite maintain. But every time you bring your attention back to that calm feeling, maybe through deep breaths or a reassuring thought, you reinforce it. Each act of focus is like a measurement that collapses your mental state back into calmness, preventing the chaos of your stress from overwhelming you. This isn't just a momentary trick. Over time, as you practice returning your focus to the same state, your mind begins to learn it. The calmness becomes easier to access, more stable, and eventually part of your habitual response to stress. This process mirrors the way repeated measurements in the Quantum Zeno Effect can prevent a system from transitioning to other states. The same principle applies to any mental state you want to cultivate. If you want to concentrate on a task, each time you catch your wandering thoughts and redirect them to your work, you stabilize your focus. If you want to build gratitude, each moment spent consciously reflecting on what you're thankful for reinforces that emotional state, making it stronger and more natural over time. However, this process isn't as simple as locking your focus and never letting go. Just as overmeasuring a quantum system can become impractical, over-focusing your attention can feel exhausting. Imagine staring at the same thought or task without relief. It quickly becomes overwhelming, like trying to hold your breath for too long. On the other hand, if your focus is too infrequent or scattered, your mind slips back into its natural tendency to drift, and the mental state you're trying to stabilize disappears. The key lies in finding the right balance, frequent enough focus to keep your mental state steady, but with enough breaks to avoid burnout. This is why practices like mindfulness and meditation often emphasize a gentle, repeated return to focus rather than a rigid demand for constant attention. The practical applications of this idea are everywhere. Imagine you're studying for an exam. Without focus, your mind naturally drifts, flipping between daydreams and distractions. But each time you catch yourself and bring your attention back to the material, you stabilize your concentration, locking it in place for longer periods. Or think about practicing affirmations. Repeating positive statements about yourself doesn't just feel good in the moment, it actively reshapes your mental patterns. Each repetition is like a measurement, collapsing your mind into a state of confidence or self-worth and preventing doubt from taking over. Even something as simple as expressing gratitude works this way. Each time you focus on something you're thankful for, you're reinforcing that perspective, making it more resilient to negativity. Over time, this repeated focus builds habits that can transform the way you experience the world. Your ability to direct and sustain attention isn't just a mental skill, it's a tool for reshaping your inner world. The Quantum Zeno Effect shows us a profound truth reality, whether at the quantum or psychological level, responds to observation. What you focus on becomes real, solid, and stable. What you neglect drifts, fades, and dissolves into the noise. In this light, attention is more than a response to your mental state. It is the engine of creation. Each moment you choose to refocus, you're reclaiming control over the ocean of your thoughts and steering it toward the life you want to live. Whether it's cultivating gratitude, building resilience, or mastering a task, the deliberate act of returning to focus is your way of sculpting not just your mind, but your very identity. This process isn't about perfection, and it doesn't demand unbroken focus. What matters is persistence. Each small act of attention, every return to what matters, is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, those votes accumulate, solidifying your ability to lock on to what serves you and freeze out what doesn't. So ask yourself, where will you place your attention today? Will you let your thoughts wander into doubt, distraction, or negativity? Or will you take hold of your focus, however fleeting it might feel, and direct it toward calm, clarity, and growth? The choice is yours, and in that choice lies immense power, the power to anchor yourself amidst life's chaos, to cultivate a mind that reflects your highest aspirations, and to turn the turbulent ocean of your thoughts into a steady wave of purpose. This is the promise of attention. It's not just about what you think, it's about who you are becoming.